Princess SolarBlaze sat alone in the great bonding chamber. The room was huge and filled with soft blue light. Crystal walls showed the stars outside. Everything looked perfect, but she felt empty inside. Her wings hung behind her, broken and dull. Once they had been bright like fire. Now they looked like cracked glass. The accident happened when she was young. She fell from the Sky Palace during a storm. The healers saved her life, but her wings never worked again. For 3 full cycles, princes and nobles came to meet her. They traveled from far planets to see the Zephyrian princess. Each time, her father, the king, hoped someone would want to bond with her. Each time she hoped too, but it always went the same way. The visitors would bow. They would speak nice words. Then they would see her wings. Their faces would change. They would find reasons to leave. She cannot fly, they would whisper. How can a Zephyrian princess not fly? The bond will be weak. The children will be flawed. SolarBlaze heard these words many times. Each rejection hurt like a knife. She started to believe them. Maybe she was broken. Maybe no one would ever want her. The royal court was getting worried. Her father paced the halls. Her mother cried in private. The kingdom needed these bonds. They made peace between worlds. They created trade deals. Without a bonded princess, their enemies grew stronger. We must find someone, her father told the council. Anyone who will accept her. The word stung. Accept her. Like she was damaged goods at a market. Today another ship had come. This one was small and strange. Not like the golden vessels of other royal families. This ship was gray metal with earth markings. Humans. SolarBlaze knew little about humans. They were new to space travel. Most aliens thought they were primitive, not worthy of royal attention. But her father was desperate now. He would meet with anyone. She heard footsteps in the hall. Heavy boots, not the light steps of her people. The doors opened and the human delegation walked in. The leader was tall with dark hair and kind eyes. He wore a simple blue uniform, not fancy robes like other visitors. Behind him came 3 others. 2 women and 1 man. They looked around the crystal chamber with wonder. Your Highness, the leader said. He bowed, but not too low. I am Captain Jake Martinez of the Earth Diplomatic Corps. Thank you for seeing us. SolarBlaze stood slowly. Her legs were stiff from sitting. Welcome, Captain Martinez. Please sit with me. They sat at the crystal table. Jake did not stare at her wings like others did. Instead, he looked at her face. Really looked like he was trying to understand her thoughts. Your world is beautiful, he said. We saw the floating gardens as we came in. How do they work in zero gravity? The question surprised her. No other visitor asked about their technology. They only cared about trade routes and military alliances. I designed the gravity fields, she said quietly. It took many years to get them right. Jake's eyes lit up. You designed them? That is amazing. The math must be incredibly complex. For the first time in months, SolarBlaze smiled. Most people find engineering boring. Not me, Jake said. I studied engineering before joining the diplomatic service. I love seeing how things work. They talked for an hour. Jake asked about her inventions. She had made many things to help herself move around without flying. Moving platforms. Gravity boots. Even a small device that let her float for short times. You are brilliant, Jake said. You found new ways to solve old problems. That takes real genius. SolarBlaze felt warm inside. No one had ever called her brilliant before. Broken, yes. Flawed, yes. But never brilliant. The other humans asked questions too. The woman named Lisa wanted to know about Zephyrian art. Amy asked about their medical knowledge. Ben was interested in their ships. They talked until the sun set. Then Jake stood up. SolarBlaze felt her heart sink. Here it comes, she thought. The polite goodbye. The quick exit, but Jake did not leave. Instead, he walked around the table to where she sat. He knelt down so their eyes were level. Princess SolarBlaze, he said softly. I have a question to ask you. She nodded, not trusting her voice. All my life I have looked for someone special. Someone who sees the world differently. Someone who faces problems and finds new answers. Someone who is strong not because everything is easy, but because they overcome hard things. SolarBlaze felt her breath catch. I think you are that person, Jake continued. Your wings do not define you. Your mind does. Your heart does. The way you care about making life better for others does. He took her hand gently. So I want to ask you something no one else has asked. Not because I need a political bond or trade deal, but because I want to know you better. SolarBlaze stared at him. This could not be real. Princess SolarBlaze, Jake said, his voice clear and strong. Will you bond with me? Not despite who you are, but because of who you are? The chamber fell silent. SolarBlaze felt tears in her eyes. For the first time since her accident, someone wanted her. Not the princess. Not the political prize. But her. She squeezed his hand. Yes, she whispered. Yes, I will. Outside, the stars seemed to shine brighter. A new chapter was beginning. The news spread like fire through the galaxy. Princess SolarBlaze of the Zephyrian Empire was going to bond with a human. A human. The royal courts of a dozen worlds buzzed with shock and anger. In the Zephyrian council chamber, voices rose in heated debate. Lord Starwind slammed his fist on the crystal table. This is madness. She cannot bond with a primitive species. It will shame our entire bloodline. We are desperate, Queen Moonlight said quietly. No one else will have her. At least the human sees her worth. Worth? Lord Starwind laughed bitterly. What worth is there in joining with barbarians who barely left their homeworld? They do not even have proper ships. King Stormcaller sat silent on his throne. His daughter's happiness warred with his duty to the Empire. The human seemed kind. But what would the other worlds think? Would they lose respect? Would enemies attack when they seemed weak? There is another problem, said High Healer Crystalwing. She was old and wise, with silver wings that still shone bright. The bonding process has never been tried between our species and humans. Never with a damaged Zephyrian like the princess. The room grew quiet. Everyone knew how bonding worked. Two minds joined together through neural pathways. It created a link stronger than marriage. Bonded pairs could share thoughts and feelings, but it required perfect harmony between both minds. Her wing damage affected her brain pathways, the healer continued. They grew different to help her cope. A human mind might not connect properly. The shock could kill them both. SolarBlaze heard these words from outside the chamber. She pressed against the wall, listening through the crystal. Each word made her feel sicker. Maybe this was a mistake. Maybe she was being selfish. But when she remembered Jake's kind eyes and gentle words, her heart argued back. He wanted her. Really wanted her. Not for politics or power, but for herself. Could she throw that away because others were afraid? On the human ship, Jake faced his own problems. Ambassador Lisa Chen paced the small meeting room. Her red hair was messy from running her hands through it. Earth Command is not happy, she said. They think you are moving too fast. They worry about making the Zephyrians angry if this goes wrong. And if I back down now? Jake asked. SolarBlaze will think all humans are the same as everyone else. That we only care about what we can gain. That might be better than starting a war, Lisa replied. But her voice was soft. She had seen how Jake and the princess looked at each other. Real feeling was rare in diplomatic circles. There are medical concerns too, said Dr. Amy Wu. She pulled up charts on her tablet. We have never studied Zephyrian neural patterns closely. Their brains work differently than ours. And with her wing damage, what kind of damage? Jake asked. When she fell, it was not just her wings that broke. The neural pathways that connect to flight also connect to other brain functions. Her mind had to build new pathways to work around the damage. She is probably much more sensitive to emotions and thoughts than normal Zephyrians. Jake nodded slowly. That explains why she seemed to understand me so quickly. She could feel what I was really thinking. It also means the bonding process could overload her mind, Amy said. Or yours. We just do not know enough. Across the galaxy, another meeting was happening. Captain Ryan Foster of the Draconian Republic smiled as he read the reports. This was perfect. The humans were about to make fools of themselves, and he could help them do it. Send messages to all the major worlds, he told his communications officer. Tell them about this disgusting union. Remind them that humans cannot be trusted. They corrupt everything they touch. What about the Zephyrians, sir? Let them know we are concerned for their princess. Offer our protection if they need to stop this mockery. Make it clear that any children from this union would be abominations. Ryan had fought humans before. They were tricky and hard to predict. But they were also emotional. They made decisions with their hearts instead of their heads. This bonding was proof of that weakness. He could use it to turn the galaxy against them. Back on the Zephyrian Palace station, SolarBlaze sat in her private chambers. The walls showed images of her childhood, flying with her parents, playing in the cloud gardens, racing with her cousins through the sky, all things she could never do again. A soft knock came at her door. "Come in," she called. Jake entered, holding a small box. He looked worried but determined. "I wanted to talk to you before the council makes their decision." "They want to stop us," SolarBlaze said. "I heard them talking. They think it is too dangerous." "It might be," Jake admitted. He sat beside her on the floating couch. "The doctors are not sure what will happen. Our minds work differently." "Are you changing your mind?" she asked, trying to keep her voice steady. "No," he said firmly. "But I want you to know the risks. I want you to choose with all the facts." He opened the box. Inside was a simple silver ring with a small blue stone. "This is from Earth. We call it a promise ring. It means I will wait for you no matter how long it takes. Whether we bond next week or next year or next decade." SolarBlaze took the ring with shaking hands. It was warm from being in his pocket. "You would really wait?" "Forever if I had to," Jake said. "Because you are worth waiting for." She slipped the ring on her finger. It fit perfectly. "Then we try. Even if it is dangerous. Even if the council says no. We find a way." Jake smiled and took her hand. "Together?" "Together," she agreed. Outside, the political storm was just beginning. But inside her chambers, Princess SolarBlaze felt something she had not felt in years. Hope. Jake spent the next weeks learning everything he could about Zephyrian culture. He studied their language until his throat hurt from the strange sounds. He read their history books and medical texts. He watched videos of their bonding ceremonies until he understood every step. Dr. Amy Wu helped him. She set up a small lab on their ship to study Zephyrian biology. Together, they scanned SolarBlaze's brain patterns when she agreed to help them. "Look at this," Amy said, pointing to the screen. "See these pathways here? They are much stronger than normal Zephyrians. When her wings were damaged, her brain built new connections." "What kind of connections?" Jake asked. "Emotional ones, empathy paths. She can feel other people's feelings much more clearly than her own people can. It is like having a superpower, but it probably gives her pain too." Jake thought about their conversations. SolarBlaze always seemed to know exactly how he felt, even when he tried to hide it. She would get sad when he was upset, happy when he smiled. He had thought she was just very caring. Now he understood it was much more. "Can we use that for the bonding?" he asked. "Maybe," Amy said. "Traditional Zephyrian bonding uses flight pathways. They connect through the joy of flying together. But if we use her empathy pathways instead..." "It might work," Jake finished. That evening, Jake went to find SolarBlaze. She was not in her chambers or the main halls. Finally, he found her in a hidden room deep in the palace. The door was locked, but she let him in when he called her name. Inside was a laboratory. Not like the grand crystal labs he had seen before. This one was small and cluttered. Strange devices covered every table. Plants grew under special lights. Computers showed complex formulas. "What is this place?" Jake asked. SolarBlaze looked embarrassed. "My secret project. No one knows about it except you now." She showed him around the lab. She had been working on biotechnology for years. Devices that could help disabled beings. Medicine that could grow new limbs. Machines that could replace broken organs. "This is amazing," Jake said, picking up a small device. "What does this do?" "It helps beings who cannot walk. It reads brain signals and moves artificial legs. I tested it on myself when my legs were hurt during therapy." Jake stared at her. "You made this? All of this?" "I had a lot of time to think," she said sadly. "When you cannot fly, you find other things to do, but the council thinks it is a waste. They say I should focus on royal duties." "This could help millions of beings across the galaxy," Jake said. "Why do they not see that?" "Because they only see what I cannot do, not what I can do." SolarBlaze sat down heavily. "Some days the pain is very bad. My wings still hurt even though they do not work. My head hurts from feeling everyone's emotions. I get tired easily." She showed him the devices she used daily. A headband that blocked some emotions when they got too strong. Medicine for the wing pain, a floating chair for when walking became too hard. "I am not the perfect princess they wanted," she said. "I break easily. I need help with simple things. Are you sure you want to bond with someone like me? Jake sat beside her. You are the strongest person I have ever met. You took something terrible and made it into something beautiful. You help others even when no one helps you. You create solutions when everyone else sees only problems. He picked up one of her inventions. This is not the work of someone broken. This is the work of someone who refuses to give up. SolarBlaze began to cry. I have been alone for so long, working in secret, hiding my pain, pretending to be okay. Everyone expects me to be grateful that you want me, like I should be thankful for scraps. You should expect more than scraps, Jake said firmly. You should expect everything. Love, respect, partnership. Someone who sees your genius and wants to help you share it with the galaxy. Over the following days, Jake brought Amy, Ben Rodriguez, and Kate Morrison to the secret lab. Ben was an engineer who loved solving technical problems. Kate studied languages and cultures. Together they began working on a new kind of bonding process. Traditional bonding will not work, Amy explained to the group. But we can create something new, something that uses SolarBlaze's enhanced empathy instead of flight pathways. How? Ben asked, studying the brain scans. Music, Kate said suddenly. Zephyrian bonding songs use flight rhythms. But what if we used emotional rhythms instead? The patterns of heartbeats when people feel love or joy or peace. They worked day and night. SolarBlaze's knowledge of biotechnology combined with human engineering created something unprecedented. A neural link device that could connect minds through emotion instead of physical ability. We need to test it, Amy said. Small connections first, just sharing simple feelings. Jake and SolarBlaze tried it first. The device was like a thin crown that sat on both their heads. When Amy activated it, Jake felt a warm glow in his mind. Then he felt SolarBlaze's emotions joining his. Her nervousness, her hope, her growing love for him. I can feel your thoughts, SolarBlaze whispered in wonder. Not just emotions, your actual thoughts about how beautiful the stars look from here. And I can feel your creativity, Jake said. The way your mind sees solutions everywhere. It is like seeing the universe through new eyes. They practiced for hours each day, sharing memories, feelings, and ideas. The connection grew stronger and clearer. But more importantly, it felt right, natural, like two pieces of a puzzle fitting together. This is revolutionary, Amy told them after a successful week of testing. You are not just bonding. You are creating a new form of consciousness. Two minds working as one, but stronger than either alone. Ben had built larger versions of the device. Kate had written new ceremony words that focused on emotional unity instead of flight. Everything was ready. But the real test would come when they tried a full bonding. That would create a permanent link between their minds. If it failed, it could damage their brains forever. If it worked, they would be connected for life. You ready? Jake asked SolarBlaze the night before the ceremony. She took his hand and smiled. With you, I am ready for anything. Outside, the galaxy watched and waited. Some hoped they would succeed, others hoped they would fail. But Jake and SolarBlaze only cared about each other. Tomorrow they would discover if love really could overcome any barrier. The day of the bonding ceremony arrived like a storm. Ships from across the galaxy surrounded the Zephyrian Palace station. Some came to witness history. Others came hoping to see failure. The great ceremonial hall had been transformed. Crystal walls now showed views of space instead of peaceful gardens. Hundreds of beings from dozens of species filled the floating seats. Reporters aimed cameras at the center platform where Jake and SolarBlaze would attempt their bond. Admiral Chris Taylor watched from the bridge of his flagship. His human fleet waited just outside Zephyrian space, ready to evacuate their people if things went wrong. He had argued against this ceremony, but Jake was determined. Now Chris could only hope his friend knew what he was doing. All ships report ready, Admiral, said his communications officer. Good. Keep the jump drives warm. If that neural link fails, we need to get our people out fast. In the ceremonial hall, High Priest Alex Windweaver prepared the ancient rituals. His golden robe seemed heavy on his shoulders. He had performed hundreds of bondings, but never one like this. Never with a damaged princess and an alien mind. I still think this is madness, he whispered to King Stormcaller. Perhaps, the king replied, but it is her choice, and we have run out of other options. Jake and SolarBlaze waited in a small chamber beside the hall. She wore traditional bonding robes of silver and blue. He wore his best diplomatic uniform with Zephyrian symbols added to show respect. Both wore the neural link devices Amy had built. How do you feel? Jake asked. Terrified, SolarBlaze admitted, but also excited. We are about to do something no one has ever done before. Together, Jake reminded her. Together, she agreed. The ceremony began with ancient songs. Zephyrian voices rose in harmonies that made the crystal walls ring like bells. Then High Priest Windweaver called for the bonding pair. Jake and SolarBlaze walked to the center platform hand in hand. Around them, cameras flashed and beings whispered. Some faces showed hope, others showed disgust or fear. Today we witnessed something new, Windweaver announced. A bonding between species that have never joined before. May the stars guide them safely. He activated the ceremonial neural link. Jake and SolarBlaze felt the devices on their heads grow warm. Then the connection began. First came a gentle touch of minds. Jake felt SolarBlaze's nervousness and sent back his own calm strength. She felt his love and returned it doubled. The link grew stronger. Then came the visions. Jake saw SolarBlaze as a child, flying through cloud gardens with joy on her face. He felt her terror during the storm that broke her wings, her pain during years of failed healing, her loneliness when suitors rejected her. SolarBlaze saw Jake's memories too. His childhood on Earth, looking up at stars and dreaming of space. His years studying to join the diplomatic service. His excitement when he first met aliens. His instant recognition when he saw her that she was special. The visions came faster. Shared fears, hopes, dreams. Jake's memory of his first flight in a spacecraft merged with SolarBlaze's memory of flying with her own wings. Her knowledge of biotechnology combined with his understanding of human nature. Then something unexpected happened. Their minds did not just connect. They began to enhance each other. SolarBlaze's empathic abilities merged with Jake's problem-solving skills. His human adaptability combined with her Zephyrian intuition. The link stabilized with a flash of brilliant light. Jake and SolarBlaze stood together. But now they were more than two beings. They were a new kind of consciousness. Individual but united. Different but whole. The hall erupted in amazed whispers. The bonding had worked. They were alive and connected and stronger than before. But the celebration was short-lived. Ships approaching fast. Someone shouted from the observation deck. Draconian Republic vessels dropped out of hyperspace around the station. Their weapons were already charging. Captain Ryan Foster's face appeared on every screen in the hall. People of the galaxy, he announced. We cannot allow this corruption to stand. The humans have poisoned a sacred Zephyrian ritual. They must be stopped before they spread their disease to other worlds. Draconian fighters screamed toward the station. The first weapon's blast shook the entire structure. Emergency lights flashed red. Beings screamed and ran for the exits. The shields are failing, a Zephyrian technician called out. Jake and SolarBlaze stood calmly in the chaos. Through their new bond, they could feel each other's thoughts perfectly. They saw solutions that neither could have found alone. The station's defense systems, SolarBlaze said. I can override them, Jake finished her thought. Working together, they moved to the control panels. SolarBlaze's knowledge of Zephyrian technology, combined with Jake's understanding of military tactics. Their four hands moved across the controls like they had done this 1,000 times. The station's weapons came online. Not just the basic shields, but hidden defense systems that only royal family members could access. Energy beams lanced out at the attacking ships. Impossible! Foster screamed over the communications. The station does not have that kind of firepower. It does now, Jake and SolarBlaze said together, their voices perfectly synchronized. Through their bond, they coordinated the station's defenses with deadly precision. SolarBlaze felt the flow of space around them through her enhanced empathy. Jake calculated firing solutions and tactical responses. Together, they became a military genius beyond anything either species had ever produced. The Draconian ships found themselves outmatched. Every move they made was predicted and countered. Every attack was met with perfect defense. Within minutes, Foster's fleet was in full retreat. This is not over, Foster transmitted as his ships jumped away. The galaxy will see what the humans have done. This abomination will not be allowed to spread. In the ceremonial hall, stunned silence fell. Jake and SolarBlaze still stood at the control panels, but now everyone looked at them differently. They had not just bonded successfully. They had become something new and powerful. "The ceremony is complete," High Priest Windweaver announced, his voice full of wonder. "Jake Martinez and Princess SolarBlaze are now bonded for life, and they have proven that their union makes them stronger than either could be alone." Cheers erupted from the crowd. The human delegation hugged each other in relief. Even some Zephyrian nobles who had opposed the bonding now looked impressed. Admiral Taylor's voice came over the communications from his fleet. "Well done, you two. That was the most impressive bit of tactical flying I have ever seen, and you were not even in ships." Jake and SolarBlaze looked at each other and smiled. They could feel each other's thoughts and emotions as clearly as their own. The bond was perfect. They were complete, but they also knew this was just the beginning. Foster would be back with more ships and more allies. The galaxy was not ready to accept what they had become. The real fight was just starting, but they would face it together, as one mind and two bodies, as love made manifest in a hostile universe. The stars seemed to shine brighter through the crystal walls, as if celebrating the birth of something entirely new. 6 months after their bonding, Jake and SolarBlaze had become legends across the galaxy. Their shared consciousness made them the most effective diplomatic team anyone had ever seen. When planets that had been fighting for centuries met with them, peace agreements were signed within days. They understood every side of every conflict. SolarBlaze's empathic abilities let them feel the real emotions behind political positions. Jake's human insight helped them find creative solutions that satisfied everyone. Together, they saw patterns and possibilities that escaped even the wisest leaders. In their private laboratory, now expanded and official, SolarBlaze's biotechnology research had exploded into reality. The devices she had invented in secret were now helping disabled beings across dozens of worlds. Blind aliens could see through electronic eyes. Paralyzed beings could walk with neural implants. Missing limbs were replaced with artificial ones that worked like the originals. Dr. Mary Santos had left her position on Earth to lead a new research institute dedicated to studying cross-species bonding. What Jake and SolarBlaze had achieved was spreading. Other impossible couples were forming throughout the galaxy. "We have documented 47 successful cross-species bonds this month alone," Mary reported during their weekly meeting. "Humans with crystalline entities, Andromedan shapeshifters with silicon-based miners. Even a few draconian nobles have secretly bonded with other species." "Foster will not like that news," Jake said with a smile. "Foster is losing support," SolarBlaze added. "His own people are starting to question why they should fear love and cooperation." Their bond had grown stronger over the months. They could now communicate without words across vast distances. When Jake traveled to Earth for diplomatic meetings, SolarBlaze could feel his thoughts from halfway across the galaxy. When she worked in the laboratory, he could sense her discoveries and share her excitement. But they were about to face their greatest test yet. The emergency alert came while they were sleeping. Red lights flashed throughout their quarters as urgent messages flooded in. The massive research station at Centauri Junction was failing. A critical reactor malfunction was about to cause a cascade explosion that would kill 30,000 beings from 20 different species. "How long do we have?" Jake asked Admiral Taylor over the emergency channel. "Maybe 6 hours before total collapse," Taylor replied. "We are sending every rescue ship we have, but there are too many beings to evacuate in time. The station's own systems are fried. Someone needs to coordinate the evacuation from inside, but the radiation levels will kill anyone who goes in." Jake and SolarBlaze looked at each other. Through their bond, they both had the same thought. "We can do it," SolarBlaze said. "Our neural link does not need physical contact anymore. One of us could go inside while the other stays safe and guides them." "Too dangerous," Amy Wu protested over the channel. "The radiation will disrupt your bond. You could lose contact and both die. Or we could save 30,000 lives," Jake replied. "We have to try." Within an hour, they were aboard the fastest ship in the human fleet, racing toward Centauri Junction. The massive station hung in space like a dying star, power flickering and atmosphere venting from multiple breaches. "I should go inside," Jake said as they approached. "You are too important to risk." "We are both important," SolarBlaze corrected. "But I know the technology better. My empathic abilities will help me find trapped beings that scanners might miss. She was right, and Jake knew it. But watching her put on the radiation suit was the hardest thing he had ever done. "Stay connected to me," he said, helping her with the helmet seals. "If I lose you in there, you will not lose me," she promised. "We are bonded for life, remember? Not even death could separate us now." SolarBlaze took a small shuttle to the station's docking bay. As she entered the damaged structure, Jake felt her fear and determination through their link. The radiation was intense, but their bond held strong. "I can sense them," SolarBlaze reported, her voice crackling through the interference. "There are beings trapped in Section C that the scanners cannot see. A group of children hiding in a shielded classroom." Through their link, Jake coordinated the rescue ships. He could see through SolarBlaze's eyes, feel what she felt, know what she knew. Together, they became a single rescue consciousness spread across space. "Evacuation Ship 7, go to Deck 15, Section J," Jake directed. "There are injured beings there who cannot move on their own." "Ship 12, the crystalline entities in the lower levels need special atmospheric containers. They cannot survive in standard life support." Hour by hour, they guided the rescue operation. SolarBlaze moved through the dying station like a ghost, finding hidden survivors and clearing escape routes. Jake orchestrated the massive evacuation from the command ship, directing dozens of vessels with perfect precision. But the radiation was taking its toll. SolarBlaze was getting weaker. Jake could feel her strength fading through their bond. "Get out of there," he urged her. "We have found almost everyone." "Not everyone," she replied stubbornly. "There are still life signs in the reactor section. If I can get there, the reactor section is going to explode in 30 minutes. You will not make it out alive." "Then I will not make it out," SolarBlaze said calmly. "But I can save them first." Jake felt her determination and knew he could not change her mind. Instead, he made his own choice. "Amy, take me to the station," he ordered. "Jake, no," Amy protested. "The radiation will kill you both." "Maybe. Or maybe together we can do what neither of us could do alone." Against all protests, Jake took his own shuttle to the station. The radiation hit him like a physical blow as he entered the damaged structure. But he could feel SolarBlaze's location through their bond and rushed toward her. He found her collapsed near the reactor chamber, her radiation suit failing. The beings she had come to save were huddled behind a fallen beam, too weak to move. "Together," Jake said, helping her stand. "Together," she agreed. Using their combined strength, they carried the survivors to safety. Their bond protected them somehow, their joined consciousness finding ways to resist the radiation that should have killed them both. As the last evacuation ship cleared the station, the reactor finally exploded. Jake and SolarBlaze barely made it to their shuttle in time. They collapsed together as the station became a brief new star behind them. The rescue was complete. 30,000 beings lived because two people had refused to accept that some things were impossible. News of their heroism spread faster than light itself. The galaxy that had once mocked their bonding now called them saviors. Even Captain Foster's supporters began to question his message of hatred. In the aftermath, the Zephyrian Empire formally recognized their union. King Stormcaller announced that SolarBlaze would be his heir, with Jake as her equal partner. The Galactic Council, moved by their example, passed the SolarBlaze Accords, new laws protecting the rights of disabled beings and encouraging cross-species cooperation. "You have changed everything," Dr. Santos told them during the signing ceremony. "Not just for your species, but for all of us. You have shown that love and understanding can overcome any barrier." Jake and SolarBlaze stood together on the observation deck of their new ship, watching the galaxy spread out before them. Through their bond, they could feel each other's contentment and love. "What do you think comes next?" Jake asked. "More impossible things," SolarBlaze replied with a smile. "More beings who need help. More problems that everyone says cannot be solved." "Sounds perfect," Jake said, taking her hand. The stars shone around them, no longer cold and distant but warm with possibility. Across the galaxy, other unlikely couples were meeting, bonding, creating new forms of consciousness and cooperation. The revolution they had started would continue long after they were gone, but for now they had each other. Two minds, two hearts, one soul, the disabled alien princess and the human who had asked if she would bond with him. Together they had made the impossible possible. Together they had changed the universe.